Buckle up, millennials. If you watched music videos in the 2000s, you lived in a world built by this man. This is Badge of the Record, where we deep dive the music video directors who defined your visual memory. Last time, we analyzed Joseph Kahn. But Meyers was the other half of the TRL domination. We talk about MTV and TRL a lot in this channel, but we have to repeat it because that chaotic visual diet trained us to be open-minded. Everything was allowed, everything was pop, and Dave Meyers was the guy translating that chaos to the screen. He started with pure R&B, genuine same old G. Then came the superstar wave, Jennifer Lopez's I'm Real and I'm Real remix, All I Have featuring LL Cool J, Usher, You Remind Me, Janet Jackson, All For You, then Aaliyah, More Than a Woman. And the definitive pop chapter with Britney Spears' Lucky, Spoiled and Outrageous. They shaped the early 2000s look, polished, playful and made for MTV, a time when channel itself dictated what cool looked like on screen. And the list kept growing, Meyers suddenly everywhere. From Shakira's Objection Tango to Enrique Iglesias' BB2 and Escape My Love. Meyers Free, Fergie's Glamorous featuring Ludacris, Hilary Duff's Come Clean, O-Town's Liquid Dream, NSYNC's This I Promise You, Asia's One Day in Your Life, Macy Gray's Sweet Baby, Christina Milian's AM to PM, Kelly Clarkson's Breakaway, Celine Dion's I'm Alive, and Dido's Thank You. Another heavy rotation genre was hip-hop. Here are some of its giants, and Meyers right behind them. From Jay-Z's I Just Wanna Love You, Izzo, Dirt Off Your Shoulder, Outkast, So Fresh, So Clean, and B.L.B., Method Man and Redman's The Rock Wilder, Ludacris's Stand Up, Evie's Love Is Blind, DMX's Party Of, and Exhibit's X. And some R&B crossovers that blurred the line with Mary J. Blige's Family Affair and Brandy's What About Us. Another up-and-coming genre was making noise on MTV, the rise of nu metal. Korn did My Time and Evolution, Limp Bizkit, Boiler, Slipknot, Left Behind, Powerman 5000, When Worlds Collide. Meyers also kept the spotlight for rock with The Offspring's Original Prankster, Creed's My Sacrifice and With Arms Wide Open, No Doubt's Hey Baby, and Aerosmith's Girls of Summer. When discussing the TRL era, we unfortunately have to remember Kid Rock. He was not yet defined by his later political persona or being just the ex-husband of Pamela Anderson. This was his absolute prime time, early 2000s MTV, and Meyers filmed his persona at his height. The open-minded anything goes mentality of TRL era gave us the courage to embrace the new. But embracing the new required a director willing to burn the old rulebook. Meyers proved he could build the mainstream. Next time, we show how he teamed up with two revolutionary muses, Missy Elliott and Pink, to absolutely shatter it. Stay tuned for part 2. You've seen his work 1,000 times. We just didn't know it was all the same guy. From Missy to Pink, from Kendrick to Ariana, Dave Meyers has been behind the most replayed images in pop culture. In part 1, we talked about the chaos of TRL era, how Meyers made the MTV feel alive. Now, we go deeper. Let's start with the one that changed everything, Missy Elliott. Missy Elliott and Dave Meyers have an impressive collab list. Get Your Freak On, 1 Minute Man, Work It, Gossip Folks, Pass That Dutch, Lose Control, Chingaling, We Run This, WTF. Each one felt like stepping inside Missy's mind, wild, stylish, impossible to predict. It wasn't just funny, it was power disguised as play. Missy is a unique queen, loud, visionary, and complete to herself. An icon. And Meyers was right there in it, literally. He even showed up on camera in Pass That Dutch, proof that this collaboration was more than like a friendship on film than a director for hire job. After Missy's playful universe, Dave Meyers found another kind of fire. Pink. Their work together redefined so many eras of her with There you go, most girls, you make me sick. Get the party started. Don't let me get me. Stupid girls, you in your hands. So what? Please don't leave me. Blow me one last kiss. Raise your glass, just like fire. Feel good time and all I know so far. Her videos were never about perfection. She could be emotional, aggressive, clumsy, hilarious, sometimes all in the same verse. She didn't pretend to be untouchable. She made fun of herself before anyone else could. She would throw a tantrum and you will still end up rooting for her. And Meyers didn't polish that attitude, he magnified it. She had her contradictions, a little bit of pick-me attitude at times, but mostly a raw, unfiltered kind of confidence that made her impossible to copy. This was pop with personality and Meyers captured every bit of it. By the 2010s, Meyers wasn't chasing hits. Hits were chasing him. YouTube ruled and he was already fluent in the new language of pop. Bigger, brighter, more cinematic. He shot with Katy Perry, Justin Bieber, Rihanna, David Guetta, Bebe Rexha and Sierra. But one collaboration felt different. Ariana Grande. With her, Meyers built a world where pop could be divine and digital at the same time. No Tears Left to Cry, The Light is Coming, God is a Woman, and Positions. These weren't just comeback visuals, they were controlled chaos disguised as serenity. Every frame was polished but nothing felt safe. Ariana's softness came with structure, her elegance with weight. Meyers framed her like a myth, floating between heavens, screens, and self-awareness. A woman fully in control of her image, yet inviting you closer. Together they gave the streaming era something it really achieves. Pop that feels powerful, feminine, and cinematic without losing its pull. That's it for part 2. Guess this one turned into a girl power chapter, but this story isn't over yet. The final part brings the modern kings and queens of pop and rap. We've seen Meyers shape MTV, help redefining girl power and rewrite how pop looked. Now, in the streaming era, he's still behind the most watched visuals. Music videos may have moved from TV to TikTok, but Meyers' influence only got bigger. Starting with Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar is arguably the most important visual storyteller of the modern era, and it's no coincidence that Dave Meyers helped shape that vision. Humble presents modern spirituality with razor-sharp precision. Loyalty is a collapsing drip with Rihanna. Love turns intimacy into rhythm and repetition. All the Stars featuring SZA is Afrofuturism turned divine spectacle. Together, they built a cinematic language that changed how hip-hop could look, and everyone took notes. On the other side of the same decade, someone else decided to have a little more fun with fame. Drake. Drake's Meyers era is self-parody and comedy. Laugh Now, Cry Later plays like a Nike commercial gone off script. Then Way Too Sexy is a hip-hop parody meets action movie trailer. Drake as Rambo and runway model at once. And while Drake made fame funny, Travis Scott's world under Meyers is purely cinematic, stylized, structured, and massive. Sicko Mode switches aspect ratios and realities like a movie inside a dream. Stop Trying to Be God feels painted in light, smoke, reflection, and sacred gold. I Know distorts intimacy through mirrors, and Highest in the Room sends the camera floating through vertical space. Every cut, every color, every frame feels designed, and turning rap into a visual architecture. Let's now look at how Meyers brought the same scale and precision into pop. Antisocial feels like a high-gloss commercial universe, robot, stage chaos, and pop art precision. And Bad Habits reframes Sharon as a neon vampire lost in a cool color palette. Shivers continues that pulse through light and movement, using mirrored frames and kinetic shots, a visual technique Meyers often revisits. Same A-list lane, bigger narrative muscle. Enter Harry Styles. Falling isolates heartbreak, still frames, muted light, water as weight. Adore You builds a quiet myth. Lonely Boy, Luminous Fish, a town learning kindness. It's pop cinema at its most emotional, built with design, pacing, and empathy. And from there, the spotlight shifts to the modern queens of visual storytelling. You can't talk about modern pop queens without mentioning Camila Cabello. Her videos with Meyers are clever, theatrical, and often overlooked. She's one of the few artists still chasing that storytelling energy of the early 2000s pop, romantic, playful, and cinematic at once. Besides Camila, if anyone else carrying that legacy forward today, it's definitely Sabrina Carpenter. She revives the fantasy of exaggeration of classic pop videos, vivid colors, humor, and precise choreography. Her confidence and irony turn performance into character, proving that Meyers' visual DNA still runs through modern pop. In his recent works, Meyers uses color and light as his language. Every artist, every genre connected by the same visual heartbeat. Coldplay and Higher Power and My Universe are two sides of the same pastel one, glowing optimism and cosmic world built from soft tones. Imagine Dragons Zero is an arcade color Pac-Man energy, a story about escape told through pixels. Taylor Swift's Me, a pastel overload, cartoon skies, toy town sets, and candy chaos in motion. Billie Eilish's Bad Guy, the same brightness used differently, sterile, tense, almost too clean. Fun and discomfort sharing the same room, something only Billie can pull off. SZA's Shirt has soft tones, slow heat, like a small scene from a Tarantino film, cool, controlled, but full of pressure underneath. Little Sim's Gorilla, purely her vibe, expressive, composed, and emotionally raw, with a visual storytelling almost echoes Kendrick's power. Rosalie and Lisa's New Woman frames two modern pop queens framed in reflection and control. BLACKPINK's Jump is an explosive motion, sharp effects, and larger-than-life color, the kind of video you feel as much as you see. And through them all, Meyers proves one thing. Visual storytelling still defines pop, just brighter, faster, and sharper than ever. 25 years later, Dave Meyers remains one of the pop culture's most adaptive storytellers. From MTV to the streaming age, he kept reshaping how music looks, helping define the visual identity of every era he touched. His work reminds us that pop has always needed images to feel complete, and few directors have supported that vision as consistently as he has. This is Beige Off the Record. Our Dave Meyers chapter ends here. Next time, we meet for the final episode of the Music Video Directors series. Full Dave Meyers playlists are live on YouTube and Spotify, link in bio. Till next time.